Bison are in bounce-back mode, coming off their first loss of the season. NDSU's offense will look to rebound after their worst performance of the year. There's no time to dwell, though, as another top 10 team invades the Fargo Dome. South Dakota's top-ranked offense will challenge Cold Green, but the top-ranked Bison defense is hungry from last week. With a chance to clinch at least a piece of the Valley title and Senior Day taking center stage, the Bison are ready for game day.
This is the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show.
Hello and welcome into the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show. I am Alex Egan alongside Beth Houle. Before we get into today's broadcast, we want to take a moment to recognize our armed forces. Thank you to you and your loved ones. Your service and sacrifice to our great country allows us to sit here and talk football and for some escape the reality we live in, even if it's just for a few hours. On behalf of all of us at the KVOY KFYR Bison Football Network, our sincerest thanks on this Veterans Day. Let's get right into it. It is a big day today for football.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about today. Not only recognizing veterans at this game today at the Fargo Dome, we're also looking ahead at the Bison being able to clinch at least a share of a record 7 consecutive Missouri Valley titles. They're fighting for their home field advantage in the playoffs, as we certainly saw this week, and they're taking on a really tough opponent.
As you see the Missouri Valley Football Conference standings there up on your screen, 8-1 overall for the Bison, but you can throw out those overall records. Those really mean nothing at this point in the season, and in terms of the seeding and everything, they're a little bit important, but it's that conference schedule that you want to pay attention to.
Are they or aren't they?
They aren't. They aren't. NDSU 5-1 in the conference, the lone one-loss team in the Missouri Valley, South Dakota. And as is custom in the Missouri Valley Football Conference, things are busy there, 2 through 6, if you will. It's a busy area. A lot of movement still to be had in the final.
And we have a busy show today, so we want to pitch it out to Ryan Gellner here. I'm just combining you.
His name's
Ryan Gellner out there at the Fargo Dome right now as we get ready to kick this one off. Ryan.
Hi, guys. Yeah, I'm the one with hair, guys. Alex is the guy without the hair. I'm the one with the hair. Welcome inside the Fargo Dome. Guys, it is a different feeling, as you can expect, here inside the Fargo Dome. North Dakota State, for the first time in a long time, has lost a football game, and that doesn't happen very often. For the first time this season, the Bison have lost. They haven't lost 2 in a row since 2009, so expect North Dakota State to get back to North Dakota State football, and that is run the football. I think you'll see a lot of the running backs, but I also think you'll see a lot of Easton Stick running the football. I think Easton gets cut loose today to try to get this Bison football team offensively going. South Dakota, they lost as well last week, and they had some uncharacteristic turnovers. In fact, South Dakota had 3 straight times in the fourth quarter that they turned over the football, so they're looking to prove something today as well. South Dakota, they go as Chris Strevler goes. He's number 15, and I think he's going to win the Walter Payton Award for the best offensive player in this league. He should be the quarterback at Minnesota. They told him he was only good enough to play wide receiver for the Gophers, so he cut loose. He joined this football program, and he has been special. 2 straight 400-yard games for Strevler. The Bison are concerned about him. They need to know where he's at all times. And the other thing about South Dakota, they can score. They can score in a hurry. They outscore their offense in the first quarter 108-30, and at halftime they generally lead. They have outscored their opponents 232-72. So it's a team that not only moves fast, they score fast as well. Guys, the Bison have their work cut out for them once again today.
Thank you very much, Ryan. We would ask you a question, but I'm afraid all of your hair would get in the way of your ears there. So we'll check back in with you throughout the rest of the show. We are feisty today on a Saturday. That's how we're doing things here on the pregame show. Feisty is a way that a lot of North Dakota State fans were this week when the playoff rankings were released. And let's take a look at the top 10 that the playoff committee released. And that is, NDSU at number 4 in this latest playoff ranking. And this is a snapshot of if the playoffs were to start today, this is how the playoff committee would seed. The top 8 is all that they seed, but these are the top 10 teams in their eyes.
Yeah, I mean, Bison are behind a team with no losses and 2 teams with FBS losses.
Okay,
so for those of you unfamiliar with Central Arkansas and Jacksonville State seasons, that is their 1 loss. The Bison have lost to an FCS team.
An FCS team that is in the 7th spot, a seeded team right now. Yes, Jacksonville State, they lost to Georgia Tech earlier in the year, 37-10. They got blown out by an FCS school.
Yes.
Central Arkansas, they lost to K-State, 55-19. They got blown out by an FBS school. NDSU could get blown out by an FBS school. Well, they won't, but they could if FBS schools were dumb enough to schedule them. The thing is, FBS schools want no part of North Dakota State. So why is a quality loss, a loss to an FBS team, more important than
That's
the 4
their hot button
wins?
topic right now.
I just don't
Quality
get it.
losses.
I
That's
don't
what
get
the
it.
committee likes. I don't like it.
I don't get it.
understand the history of how things have gone and why it is. But you know how you fix this? You win 2 more football games.
Exactly. I think you can't
win
keep
2 more football games. You take that Missouri Valley title. I think this is a Bison with a 2 seed, no problem.
You cannot leave
chance
the
to blow
Missouri
the
Valley.
Bison.
That's true. You cannot leave the Missouri Valley Football Conference champion out of that top 2 seeds. That is just not possible. It's not possible to do.
So you handle it. You handle it on the football field the best way you can. You can cry about it all you want, but you handle it on the football field.
Of course, those rankings will be released the Sunday after next week's game, so a week from tomorrow is when the committee will have the playoff field released. Still plenty to come here on the pregame show today. We've got a jam-packed show, plus we are going to make sure that you see every bit of that Senior Day ceremony out at the Fargo Dome. That is all still to come here as we continue on the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football pregame show. Bison country embracing the Custer's family from Delaware. Their son Lucas, he's also known as the Dutch Destroyer. Touching piece from Carson Wentz and him on ESPN a few weeks back. They are in Fargo for the first time ever this week. Bison country welcoming them in, and Bison also welcoming in South Dakota. The Yotes here at the Fargo Dome trying to at least spoil the party on Senior Day and make sure that they aren't eliminated from a Missouri Valley Football Conference title today as we get you set for football here on the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football pregame show. Let's go out to the Dome. Ryan Gellner standing by with the voice of the Yotes.
Thank you, guys. Welcome back inside the Fargo Dome. Joe Van Gore, who is in his 6th year of calling play-by-play for the Coyote Sports Network, joins us now. And, Joe, it is a big game not only for North Dakota State, but a big game for the Coyotes as well because they are right on the Bison heels.
Well, there's no doubt. And, well, of course, with this being kind of new for the Coyotes, being mentioned in the FCS picture, I think Coach Nielsen and the staff are just saying, hey, take care of business and let things fall where they may. But no doubt after a loss at Northern Iowa, a game that the Coyotes led in the 4th quarter, it'll be a big bounce-back week for them.
No question, this team goes as Chris Strevler goes. The quarterback has thrown for 400 yards the last 2 weeks. He's really good, but they'll go as he goes. If he has a big game, you expect the Coyotes to have a big game.
There's no doubt. And also, we've seen, especially in the Valley, that Chris Strevler has somebody watching him on the other side of the ball where they have a spy, I guess it's called, where that was effective against Illinois State, or for Illinois State against the Coyotes a few weeks ago. Yeah, I think if you keep Chris Strevler in the pocket, yeah, then he's going to throw, and if the passing game's going, but the running game is not, that puts extra pressure on the Coyote offense.
On the flip side, what do you think USD is concerned about on NDSU's side?
Well, I think finding out what the Bison have on offense. I know Easton Stick hasn't really had a great couple weeks. Look for the Coyote front 7 to put pressure on Easton. I know the Bison want to get back to a solid running game, which is their hallmark, with the, I guess, running back by committee, as you will. But I think if the Bison can get the run game going, and then Easton Stick feels more comfortable with the passing game, we've got a secondary that is depleted, minus a couple starters and a top reserve due to suspensions. The guys that have filled in admirably, but in this situation, it'll be interesting to see how they react to that.
It is November football in the Valley, and they do not get more important than this one, Joe. I appreciate the time, and good luck to your squad.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Joe. We will talk more about Chris Streveler a little bit later on in the show. For now, let's get out to the brave souls that are braving the cold weather here in Fargo. Out in the tailgate lot. It's not bad. And they know how to tailgate, that's for sure. Let's go out to Mike Morgan with our tailgate report. Mike.
All right, thanks, guys. We're out here in a rather raucous group of tailgaters and enjoying the day prior to the game. I've got two contestants for me. Sheila, you're first. Are you nervous?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
All right, well, let's try this right away. Are you ready? Here we go.
Okay.
From 2012 to 2014, the NDSU football team set an FCS record for most consecutive road wins. How many? Was it 22 or was it 32? Oh, hold on. 22 or 32? Most consecutive road wins. 32. I wouldn't go with that answer, but you go. You make your own decision.
22.
22 is the right answer. 22 is the right answer. Congratulations. You win a $50 gift card from the True Blue Social Club. So congratulations. All right, thank you. And now we go to our birthday lady. Haley is your name, right?
Yep.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Let's hope you win, okay? Here we go. The Bison and the University of North Dakota will renew their rivalry for the Nickel Trophy in what year? Never or 2019? I would. Oh, you hear that? 2019. Hear what he said?
Never?
Never. Is that your final answer?
Sure, yes.
Never is correct. Never is correct. Yeah, the Nickel. No, they retired it, so they're not playing for it anymore. Glad you listened to him and not the guys in the back. All right, so congratulations. You win a $50 gift card to Lucky 13, and I hope you have a fantastic birthday, okay? All right, two more winners. That's how easy it is. We'll be back with two more contestants later on in the show. Back to the studio.
All right, thanks, Mike. A little bit of help there for those
Teamwork.
tailgate trivia. Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work, right? Bison fans out in full force. We've got more of the pregame show to come here on the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show.
Bryce Mesner, a senior for the Bison, welcomed his first child into the world this past week, Macklin Mesner. And here's Macklin getting set for his first Bison game day. Congrats to Bryce and Taylor. Grandpa Jeff sending us a picture today of Macklin in his green hat, getting ready for this kickoff today for Bison football. Excited first time Grandpa says they think he's a pretty cool little guy.
Class of what, 2030 something or other?
I can't do that math.
He'll be celebrating a senior day, I'm sure. I'm sure he'll be celebrating
If he has anything like his dad's genes, that's for sure.
Give him 20 some odd years.
Yeah, Mesner, a utility player out there for the Bison this year, North Dakota guy making a big time impact. Congratulations to them. Such an exciting moment going into a senior day, a cool club to join. Absolutely, absolutely.
Let's go back out to the Dome. Ryan Gellner standing by with our Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Injury Report. Ryan.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Dr. Bruce Pyatt with our Sanford update. And Dr. Pyatt, a football term that we hear and see is stinger. You often see a guy come off the field holding, you think the worst, and in reality, it's a stinger. What is a stinger?
Well, a stinger, first of all, if you watch the athlete, you can tell it's a very uncomfortable, very painful experience for them to go through. What happens is generally the head and neck gets shoved over to the side, so they get twisted one way. It puts a stretch injury on the nerve root, which is the part of the nerve as it exits the spine. So this is not in the spinal cord itself, it's external to that point. So it's not typically a paralyzing type of problem, but it can be a very painful thing with it. And what they'll experience is they'll come off with just this dead arm that just has horrible, terrible pain initially with it. And then it's a matter of kind of watching it and letting it recover at that point.
Oftentimes we see those players a series or two later, they're back in the football game. So lasting effects, not much?
Generally not. So what we're going to want to see is that it recovers quickly, meaning that they regain, all the pain goes away, all of their function comes back where they have normal sensation and they have normal strength. If that occurs very quickly within a couple of minutes, then we'll allow them to return because we don't think it's a serious catastrophic type of problem for them.
All All right, that is a stinger, a quick definition, and something that makes sense. We hope we don't see any stingers today, guys. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Dr. Pyatt. On the injury report today, just a couple of guys. Levi Jortheim is the one that will be an impact, and we're not expecting him to be available today. He suffered a knee injury last week against South Dakota State. Good news is Chris Board, who has been dealing with a knee injury the past several weeks, is expected to be in that lineup today. And
an important piece without Jortheim in there. Another big part is that they, of course, will have Jabril Cox this entire game out last week for that first half with his suspension for targeting. But that linebacker core continuing to take blows. Linebackers and running backs, two of the deepest position groups coming in, seeing some real tough hits this week.
Attrition, definitely battling some attrition. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks that'll be going for today's game. And Easton Stick going for the Bison. He's had a rough go of it the last 3 games, but the fun thing is the Bison are 2-1 in those 3 games. Passing yards there, just a yard shy.
Yeah, I can't fight you on this one. I've fought you as long as I could. You have told me again and again that Easton Stick has been making you nervous. He made us all nervous last week. That was a tough game for him at South Dakota State, but Easton Stick is a confident guy. He is a capable quarterback.
Absolutely.
I mean, you saw him yesterday. You had the chance to talk to him. He was calm and relaxed. He's confident, and that's what you want to see out of your quarterback.
Yes, that is exactly what you'd like to see out of your quarterback, and I did get a chance to see him out there at the Dakota Bowl, and he was fine. Everything was fine. Everything was.
And you know what?
It was the day before a game.
Yes, I would like to see Easton Stick have a better performance today. Obviously, I think he's got a little bit of a weekend attack on that USD cornerback position. 2 of those 3 suspensions from the court case that's going on in South Dakota right now. 2 of those were starters at cornerback. They're playing some second-tier guys there. But also, let's help Easton Stick out a little bit and get that run game going a lot more, because that will help him a ton. Time
of possession will be crucial today because South Dakota, they don't like to hang on to the football a lot because they like to just run plays like it's nobody's business. They are, I think Coach Klieman called them the Oregon of the Missouri Valley Football Conference. They like to get up and go, and the guy that makes them go is Chris Strevler, the transfer from Minnesota, now in his 2nd year there in South Dakota, and he is phenomenal. 21 touchdowns through the air, 8 more through the ground. He's a tough cat to bring down at 215. 215, I think, is a little on the light side for him, too.
Yeah, he's a big boy. We just saw some of him warming up from the dome. He's a big guy. He's a tough guy, but we're hearing some reports that everybody thinks he might be injured a little bit and that they're not going to be looking to run him as much, which is a huge part of that South Dakota game plan and a huge part of success that Strevler has in his game. If you can make him throw, he's got a lot more weaknesses than if you let him be mobile.
He did suffer an injury against Southern Illinois in a South Dakota win. He left that game in the first half, and he did not come back in the second half. They said, we could have brought him back in, but
he played last week, but they were switching in their second-string quarterback a little bit for some of those designed run plays, and I think that's going to be a factor today. If the Bison can get after him, make him uncomfortable, and make that coaching staff nervous about him taking much more contact, I think we're going to see a much different South Dakota attack than they would like to bring into the Fargo Dome.
Certainly will be one of the points of emphasis for the Bison today. We come back, we will go back out to the Dome and bring in the other 3 guys on this pregame show. That's all next here on the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show.
Fargo Dome for today's football game between North Dakota State and South Dakota. A special happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans who served that make playing football on a Saturday possible and making our broadcast today possible. A very special thank you for your service. Brian Shawn and Lee Timmerman inside the Fargo Dome. And guys, we are in for a very good football game today against 2 teams that really need wins, Brian.
Yeah, I think 2 teams that I think as soon as the last time they got off the field, they would like to get back on it immediately. I mean, North Dakota State certainly didn't play well. 5 turnovers, well out of what they typically do. And even South Dakota, they look at the stats. They outgained Northern Iowa almost 2-1 in total yardage, but 4 costly turnovers, 3 in the 4th quarter. A big reason why UNI was able to come out with a victory in Cedar Falls last Saturday.
If you're a Bison fan, the Bison, I think, want to prove some things as well, Lee. They want to be able to run the football today, and that defense has got a few things to prove as well.
Well, yeah, the defense will be tested because one of the things that I know we'll talk about is the tempo at which USD plays. They want to play really fast, and that means the defense has to be ready.
Let's go into our keys to the football game today. And our first one is simply relax and play if you're North Dakota State. Chris Klieman admits his team took last week's loss to South Dakota State pretty hard. They've spent some time this week building them back up. Brian, this team doesn't lose much, but looking back does you no good. It's on to the next, and it's on to South Dakota.
Yeah, and I think for NDSU, it's one of those situations where it's not like they haven't lost a football game before, and I think sometimes people think, oh, no, NDSU lost a football game. It happens. You don't play your best every week, and that happens. But when you look at the last 14 times North Dakota State has lost, they followed it up with a win. You have to go back to 2009 to find the last time that the Bison lost 2 games in a row, and that was that kind of disastrous 3-8 season. So the Bison have clearly been able to get over these losses in the past, and the coaching staff, I think, will have them ready to go today.
Our second key to the football game sounds easy, but will it be for North Dakota State? And that is get lined up. Offensively, USD gets to the football, and they go. This is the hurry-up of hurry-up offenses, and as they get across the 50-yard line, they go faster and faster. It's hard to simulate in practice. Lee, the first order of business for the Bison on defense, it's simple. Get lined up.
It is simple, but the Bison are going to do a couple of things today that will help them do that. Watch for Jalen Allison. There isn't one guy that Allison has to follow all around the field, Ackland or Winnicky. He is going to stay on USD's sideline. So Jalen will be over there because he's the guy that can that most knows the checks, most knows the plays, the hand signals, and is most comfortable playing that far away from the ball. The other thing the Bison will probably do today, I think, is with their safeties. Instead of flipping strong and flipping free, there's a good chance that both Grimsley and Dempsey will stay on their sidelines because each one of those guys knows the other role. That's another thing you can do to help get lined up quickly.
Brian, teams have seen North Dakota State has seen teams go fast. Last week, South Dakota State went fast. They didn't go South Dakota fast, though.
No, I mean, South Dakota, they want to run like 100 plays. I mean, it's a totally different deal from what NDSU has seen before. And it's how quickly they get lined up and snap it. Now, they will change tempo from time to time, but what they're really good at is just dinking and dunking. They always seem to get positive yardage, even the 4 to 5 yard chunks. And then when they get the first down, that's when they really want to get in the ball and go, go, go. So they have not run it particularly well the last few weeks. So we'll see how healthy Chris Streveler is today and how much they're willing to put him in harm's way, because I think that's the other part of the game plan for USD. How much do they want to run their quarterback? He's taken a lot of hits already this season.
It leads us into our third key, and that is keeping Chris Streveler in the pocket. We say they're between the tackles because that's important. If they keep him in the pocket, he's in between the tackles. I think he throws it as good as anybody in the country. 2 straight 400-yard games. He's really mobile. He can tuck and run, but he's dangerous because he keeps his eyes downfield. Lee, they need to know where number 15 is today.
They do. The strange thing about your stat, though, with the over 400 yards passing is what happened in those 2 games to USD. Yep. They lost those games when Streveler had to throw it that much. So, obviously, the Coyotes don't want Streveler to have to throw it that much. But, yeah, he does his RPOs, his run-pass options, a little bit different than what the Bison saw last week with Taryn Christian. Christian is more of a use his feet to throw the ball. And we have seen where Streveler's been physical with it, finishing it. They're trying to get him to slide a lot more. He's doing a better job of that, but he banged up his ankle again last week. He's got one shoulder that's been a little bit tweaked, so they don't want Streveler to just be that quarterback power guy that he has been so much and so often in the past. But, yeah, you're right. He is a dangerous weapon, and they rely on him a lot.
It is not a must-win for North Dakota State, but a win today would guarantee them at least a tie in the Missouri Valley, and that, above everything else, that's really NDSU's goal year after year, win the Valley.
Yeah, that's the first goal. That is goal number 1, and I think the important part of that is no other team in the Missouri Valley has won 7 straight championships outside of Northern Iowa in the 90s. I mean, it's pretty impressive. So we'll see how NDSU does today if they can respond here at home, and it is senior day, so there is some emotion for these 20 seniors that are going to be announced before the game as well.
I would be shocked, Lee, if the Bison don't play well based upon what Brian just said, senior day, and based on how they played last week. I'd be shocked.
Yeah, you just don't ever imagine that NDSU can lay an egg that big 2 weeks in a row.
That's well said. Lee Timmerman, Brian Sean will call today's game. We'll be back with more from the Fargo Dome after this.
This is the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show.
Good afternoon and welcome back inside the Fargo Dome. It is number 5, North Dakota State, and number 10, South Dakota this afternoon. And this is the Harvest Bowl, which begins this week's Herdline News. It is the 43rd Harvest Bowl over the last 44 years here at North Dakota State, which celebrates the Bison excellence in agriculture, education, and athletics. The Bison are 38-2-2 all time and have won 7 straight Harvest Bowl games. If North Dakota State wins today, they can clinch at least a share of the Missouri Valley Conference title. The Bison enter the day in first place in the Valley. A bit of history, the Bison have won 33 conference championships. Now that dates back a while, including 26 in the old North Central Conference and 1 in the Great West Conference. A couple of things to look forward to at today's football game. It is senior day at the Fargo Dome. 20 Bison seniors will walk through that helmet for the final time during a regular season game this year. You know the names. They're names like Dempsey and Urzendowski and DeLuca and Kunert and Tangway. It's meant a lot to the Bison to have these seniors come through. We will cover the Senior Day ceremony just prior to kickoff here on the statewide KVLY, KFYR Bison Television Network. And also coming up early in today's game, we'll talk with the family of Lucas Custers, the 10-year-old Philadelphia Eagles fan that passed away not long ago, just weeks after spending a day with Carson Wentz. The family of Lucas is here in the Fargo Dome today, getting a chance to see where Carson Wentz played his college football. You probably saw the touching story of the Dutch Destroyer on ESPN. We will talk to Lucas's mother, Rebecca, on the sideline during the first quarter of today's game. That's Herdline News for this week, Saturday, November 11th, 2017. I had a chance to catch up with Bison head coach Chris Klieman not long ago. Coach, it's senior day, and this group of seniors, the 20 that'll walk through for the final time in a regular season game, mean a lot to you because it's really your first crew as the head coach.
Yeah, they really are. They were in the room when there was a coaching change, and all those guys had an opportunity maybe to say, boy, are we going to stick around? And I was fortunate enough to get the head job, and they were fortunate enough to stay, and it's been a pretty good unity between us. All those guys mean a ton to me, and they've done an awful lot for our football program and our community.
I know you're excited to get back to football after the loss last week, put that behind you, and just go play.
Yeah, exactly. We challenge the guys that don't listen to the outside noise and focus on your preparation and focus on each other and get back to doing what we do. And we had a great week of practice. Now, do we execute? That's the big key for us is our execution this week.
Another big test for your defense. Chris Strevler, probably as good as they get as far as the quarterback position in this league. You need to know where 15 is at.
He's an absolute stud. He's a tough kid. He takes shots. He throws the ball well. He runs it. As he goes, they go, especially in their up-tempo system. Really have a lot of praise for the kid. He's a great football player.
And no secret on offense, you want to go back to Bison football, run the football.
Yeah, we need to be able to run the football because that's the way you keep an up-tempo offense on the sideline is to be able to control the clock. And then we have to be able to do some things with the possessions, and then we have to win field position on teams.
All right, Chris, best of luck today.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
We go back to our Fargo studios next when the pregame show continues on.
Scenes from downtown Fargo this morning, a Veterans Day parade. Again, thank you to all of our servicemen and women and their families and our veterans. Back inside our Fargo studios as the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football pregame show rolls on, and we come to our Bobcat heavy lifting player. And you know, we've had discussions in the past about who it should be. This week we were both on this one. It should be Easton Stick. The guy that's going to have to do the heavy lifting today is number 12.
He's got something to prove this week.
I put on here, get back on track. And the reason I say that, get back on track, is because his first 6 games, Easton was completing passes at around 70%. He had 12 touchdowns to no picks. The last 3 games, granted, he's playing better defenses in those last 3 games. He's only completing about 50% of his passes, just over 50%. He's got 4 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. So he's got to get back to what he was doing in those first 6 games. And yes, I understand that they're playing tougher defenses, but that's what you need to see out of Easton Stick today. If the Bison are going to win, it's because 12 and the rest of the offense are controlling football and keeping the ball away from South Dakota's offense.
Yeah, it sounds simple, but it really comes down to that. And, you know, I absolutely agree with you. He kind of just needs to find his footing again. I don't think he's lacking confidence. I don't think he's unsure. I don't think teams are doing anything that the Bison aren't expecting. It's just not clicking right now. And I think that's what you saw last week with the interception that was picked off when RJ went the other way. It was just a miscommunication. It was good plays by the defense, but it's just they're just off just half a step, and half a step in such a fast game is a huge difference. I say play clean on here as well because he has turned the football over a fair amount over the last 3 games, be it the interception, be it the fumbles. Now, you didn't clear that last one with me because I don't think he is playing unrelaxed. I think that's more for everybody else. Oh. That's Aaron Rodgers' quote where he says, everybody needs to RELAX, relax. And I think that's for everybody to relax right now because he is a great quarterback. He's shown that he can be the quarterback of the Bison. He's shown that he can win. He's in a bit of a rough spot right now. So let's just all chill out. Yeah, Chris Klieman, this coaching staff, they all still have all of the confidence in Easton Stick. Klieman saying today in a couple of different platforms that if he could have Easton Stick as his quarterback for the next 15, 20, how many ever years, he would be a successful college football coach. And I think he's absolutely right. I just really, really believe if they can get that running game to find its footing again. You're missing Lance Dunn. I think we're seeing the effects of Lance Dunn's injury. We need Ty Brooks to kind of step up and be that power guy. We saw he could do it. It was called back because of a penalty, but we saw that Ty Brooks can do this and be that difference maker because Bruce Anderson, that's not his style of run. He's not speed. No. He's the bruiser. Yes, absolutely. And you have to let him take that role and own his role. You don't want anybody doing something that's not their job. Do your 111th. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that from Bison football players, but everybody needs to do their 111th. Easton doesn't need to do more than is asked of him, but he does need to definitely control this offense and be the guy. Just be the guy. Well, it is senior day, and we caught up with a few of the seniors. We're going to show you the entire senior day ceremony, but we caught up with a few of the seniors this week, and you know, they get a chance to talk in front of the team, and that's what RJ Urzendowski had to say.
It's really a powerful week when seniors speak because it shows how important this program is to these guys and how much it's affected their lives, and it's a chance for them to have the floor and share about their experiences and talk to the young guys and thank all the coaches and things like that. And
I'm just taking every experience and just living it up, the most of it. Those tunnel walks, I try to slow them down, take in the moment, and just any big play when the crowd cheering, just like appreciate it more and more each game as time winds down. That's pretty much it. Just taking the most of each opportunity.
I love hearing that from Trey Dempsey. Just take it all in. Slow down the tunnel walk just a little bit. Just embrace the moment that you're given. Absolutely. He said Coach Klieman told the seniors in a meeting a couple of weeks ago to slow these things down. And for him to be able to take that at heart, he said you definitely start to feel it at this point in the season. We got less than 5 minutes before we'll kick you out to the Fargo Dome on our Coors Light countdown clock for the Senior Day ceremony. But first, we will go out to the tailgate lot. Mike Morkin standing by with a tailgate report. Mike.
All right, thanks again. And we are out in one of the tents here, and it's got to be, what, about 85 degrees in here? These heaters are doing their job today, and it's not as bad as we thought, right? No. Yeah. All right, but we're here to play trivia, and I've got 2 contestants. And first, let's go with Mark. Are you ready to go?
Yes, I am.
All right, Mark, here we go. What NCAA division do the Bison play in? Is it Division I FCS or Division I FBI?
FCS.
FCS is correct. Hey! Yeah. You knew that without the answers, didn't you? Congratulations, you won a $50 gift card to the Lucky 13 Pub. Okay? All right. Ready to go?
Let's do it.
Nobody has actually gotten it wrong yet this year.
There's always me.
No. Come on. Here we go. Which Bison head coach holds the record for most wins in NDSU history with 104 over his 10-year career? Is it Craig Bohl or Rocky Hager?
Craig Bohl.
Craig Bohl, is that correct, crowd? That's correct. You are correct. Very good. You win a $50 gift card to the True Blue Social Club.
Sweet.
All right. Thanks for playing, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And crowd, how about a Go Bison for the... Hey! Back to the studio.
Leave it to Mike to find the warm spot. That guy's probably really warm. Holy cow, what a get up there. Well done, sir. That's impressive. We come back, more of the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football pregame show after this.
This is the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football pregame show.
Just moments away, we'll get you out to the Fargo Dome for the Senior Day ceremony as Bison celebrate Harvest Bowl. Since it is the Harvest Bowl, that means the cool Harvest helmets. Yellow tops, green pants, that's what they're rocking.
These are the important things to get a team ready for kickoff.
Aesthetics, that's where it's at.
Yes, that's what it's all about. And in case you're also wondering, the dome will be filled, hopefully,
That's
with
a
all
code green game,
uniforms.
yeah. We're hoping that the fans got the memo and are wearing their green today. Just to go back to those Harvest uniforms, the Bison are 8-0 in the green helmet, which is impressive. That's a big number.
It is.
They are 6-0 in the green helmet, gold uniform, green pants combo. They are 25-0 in the gold tops.
Oh my goodness.
They bust out the gold tops for the big games. And I think today qualifies as a big game.
It certainly does. Yeah, no, it's definitely a big game. This is going to be a tough, hard-fought game. We're expecting that, at least between these two hard-nosed teams, two teams fighting for something. South Dakota has been a team to watch all season long. When they were playing at Illinois State, that was a big one we kept our eyes on a couple of weeks ago when the Redbirds took down the undefeated Coyotes at that point. It was a shocking game. It was interesting to see. Streveler had thrown his first interception that day, like simultaneously as Easton Stick threw his first. We've kind of seen both teams hit a little bit of a slide here as the season has picked up, but both these teams really needing a win out of this one.
More importantly, what I think we need to understand is that the Bison need to execute. That was the one thing that Chris Klieman said coming out of the loss last week against South Dakota State was we need to execute better. It wasn't for a lack of effort against South Dakota State. It is execution. That is what will be key today. Time of possession will also be very key for the Bison
Absolutely,
today.
And I think that was a big point that kind of got lost in the shuffle last week against South Dakota State. NDSU only running the ball 20-some-odd times. That's not going to win a football game the Bison football way. I mean, they need to run that ball more. They need to establish that.
To your point, Easton Stick had 28 attempts last week against South Dakota State in the loss. That's his second highest attempts total in his career. His highest attempts total was 38 against James Madison. So not good when Easton Stick is throwing the ball more than 28 times.
It's just not their style.
It is not their style. They need the running backs to have a big, big game today. You can see the intro video playing. Let's take it to the Fargo Dome. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the northeast corner of the Fargo Dome. Head coach Chris Klieman and the North Dakota State football program would like to recognize 20 seniors making their final regular season home appearance in front of Bison Nation at Gate City Bank Field at the Fargo Dome this afternoon. These 20 student athletes have admirably represented North Dakota State University over their careers and have lived up to the expectation of being an NDSU student athlete and a member of the Bison football program. Their list of accomplishments is remarkable and reads as follows. A 48-6 overall record, including a 29-3 home mark over that time and a 26-4 mark in the Valley. An ESPN College Game Day in 2014 and Sports Center on the Road in 2015. A 2-0 mark against FBS competition with wins over Iowa State and Iowa. A 10-1 NCAA playoff record. Missouri Valley Conference Championships their first 3 seasons and a chance for a 4th this year. Part of an undefeated national championship team in 2013 as redshirts, followed by an FCS national championship in 2014 and 2015. Bison Nation, these young men have given blood, sweat, and tears to NDSU and Bison football. Join us now in recognizing our 2017 Bison football seniors. Linebacker from Orlando, Florida, number 1, Chris Board. Safety from Lakeland, Florida, number 3, Trey Dempsey. Quarterback from Kearney, Missouri, number 7, Cole Davis. Safety from Baltimore, Maryland, number 11, Darren Kelly. Wide receiver from Gatsky, Minnesota, number 15, Daniel Polensky. Wide receiver from Omaha, Nebraska, number 16, R.J. Urzendowski. Punter from Oceanside, California, number 19, Jackson Kuntz. Safety from Ray, North Dakota, number 26, Keenan Hoddenfield. Linebacker from Gardner, Kansas, number 44, Matt Plank. Linebacker from Omaha, Nebraska, number 49, Nick DeLuca. Long snapper from Bloomington, Minnesota, number 51, James Fisher. Offensive lineman from Mackville, North Dakota, number 62, Bryce Messner. Offensive lineman from Maple Grove, Minnesota, number 72, Eric Olson. Offensive lineman from Lakeville, Minnesota, number 73, Zach Zemer. Offensive lineman from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, number 75, Austin Kunert. Tight end from Lidgerwood, North Dakota, number 86, Jeff Ilias. Tight end from Dunellen, Florida, number 87, Connor Wentz. Defensive tackle from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, number 90, Grant Morgan. Defensive end from Warner, South Dakota, number 93, Jared Tushka. Defensive tackle from Monagango, Wisconsin, number 99, Nate Tangway. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2017 North Dakota State Bison football seniors. Let's hear it for them.
All right, the the Senior Day ceremony underway. We will get you out for the kickoff between North Dakota State and South Dakota here in just a few moments.
Just one of my favorite moments of Bison football all year long. I love that we're able to bring that up in full, show everybody being recognized. This is one of the largest classes since I've been here, but a class that has seen so much. Some of those guys maybe not getting as much of the playing time, as much of the accolades. You know, we talk so much about R.J. Urzendowski, Trey Dempsey, Nick DeLuca, a senior season delayed for him, but a huge roar for those guys. But there's so many people out there who have meant a lot to this Bison football team, and you heard Chris Klieman talk about them this week and say that those are the kind of guys that embody Bison football, the guys who have stuck around. You did a story earlier this year on Cole Davis, a prime example of a guy who is the heart and soul of Bison football without maybe all of the praise.
He's a backup, yeah. He knew that he wasn't going to be the starting guy, yet he shows up every day, does his work, and prepares like he will be the starting quarterback for North Dakota State. Those are the type of guys that the Bison like to get in here. Those are the type of guys that you like to root for.
Absolutely.
As a
Matt Plank, who got his chance last season in a terrible situation, made the most of it, again, backing up players again this year, but he stuck it out. And those are the kinds of players that are really cool to see get their moment today.
Real quick, on the line today, at least a share of the Missouri Valley Football Conference title. If the Bison win, they clinch at least a share of that. It would be their 7th straight. Thank you so much for joining us here on the pregame show. We'll see you back at halftime. For now, let's get you out to some football.